Hey there. So today I'm going to talk to you about some life lessons I've learned that I now know to be true. Caveat to that, in life coaching you will learn that the only thing that is true is what you know to be true for you. So if anything I'm saying here doesn't feel true to you, then that's not your truth, it's fine. But I do think, based on my own experience and the other people that I've coached, these are fairly universal truths. So I'm going to start with one today. It's kind of a biggie. So the first universal truth, life lesson I've learned that I know now to be true, is that most pain and suffering that we experience is self-inflicted. So you're probably thinking, that's bogus, that's terrible, frankly, because what if I break my leg? Well, sure, you break your leg, that's a different kind of pain. I'm talking about emotional pain, spiritual pain, that sort of pain, right? The suffering that we all feel in our day-to-day lives when things aren't going well or something has happened to us. But here's the clincher. The thing that happened to you, let's say you lost your job, you got fired, you don't have another job, you got bills piling up, you've got rent to pay, whatever that is. That event occurred at a specific point in time, and that event no longer exists. So what I mean by that is, every single thing that happens to us happens and then is gone. There is no such thing as the past. You don't have a time machine. I don't have a time machine. You can't go back to that point of being fired and live in that anymore, right? It doesn't exist anymore. So that getting fired event was a thing that happened once. It's not going to repeat in the future, and it is not presently happening right now. So why are you suffering? Why are you feeling bad about this, right? That's the question. It's because the circumstance, which is getting fired, the circumstance led to thoughts. And those thoughts might be something like, I'm no good. I'm never going to be able to make my way through this world. I don't know why I can't keep a job. I'm such a loser. I'm never going to be able to pay these bills. I'm going to be living under a box feeding, my toe crumbs to pigeons, right? You'll start to spiral. But the circumstance, getting fired, that started these thoughts doesn't exist anymore. But eventually you think these thoughts enough and you start to attach to these thoughts. You start to believe them. So this belief that you're never going to be good enough, or that you'll never get out of this hole that you're in, this belief starts to impact everything that you do because it's insidious. You've attached to it, you've decided essentially that it's true. And that's where the pain and suffering comes from. It doesn't come from the fact that you were fired. It comes from your thoughts that you have chosen to believe are true. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people that haven't kind of looked at it in this way before, but I promise you, it is one of the biggest tenets of coaching, is that you have to question these thoughts and beliefs. You have to question everything that you think or that you know and see if it really is actually true. Is it actually true that because you got fired, you're never going to be okay again? It's not, right? So two things are happening in this little life lesson. Number one, living in the present, right? You can't go back to a past event and live in it all over again. It doesn't exist anymore. So the only thing that's hurting us about that past event is what we're thinking about it. And the second thing that we're thinking about here is questioning our thoughts and beliefs. Now, you actually have to be aware of them to be able to question whether they're true or not. And that's a lot of the kind of work that I work with my coaching clients on, is actually understanding where those thoughts are, seeing them. Because a lot of times they're just there. You haven't been trained to observe those and step out from those. And so these sorts of things just become insidious, and it's just part of how you function. You haven't yet learned how to be able to kind of cut that off of the pass and be able to investigate or learn that. So long story short, the suffering and the pain that you experience isn't due to the actual thing, unless it's physical pain, but that's not what we're talking about here, right? It's not due to the actual thing that happened. It's due to your thoughts and beliefs about the thing that happened. Hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, DM me, send me an email.